like to talk to you about three areas. Firstly, the MVQ, then a brief explanation of the D32-33, and then thirdly, my own experience of receiving the D32-33, which I did at Manchester. So firstly, the MVQ. More and more firms have been looking at training such as City and Guilds, where students tend to go off to university and do a course, but they'll come back, and when they come back into the workplace, their skills that they've learned don't seem to match what is actually expected of them within that workplace. So I'd like to just compare the old style to the MVQ system. Now, the MVQ stands for National Vocational Qualification. So whereas the old way students were on a set course, having to meet certain standards at certain times, with the MVQ it's a lot more relaxed. You can do things at your own pace and when you're ready to have assessments and things. The old style meant you had to meet a lot of criteria, which with the MVQ, it is more work-based and linked to that. Also, to get involved in the old style, you had to already have some kind of qualification to get into the education system there. But with the MVQ, you don't need that. You work at your own pace. Whereas with the old course, you had a certain amount of time you had to pass or fail within a certain time. But with the MVQ, no, you just do it at your own pace, as I've said, and when you're ready to do it. Before you have to go off to university and keep attending lessons and things there, whereas with the MVQ you can study at home, you arrange when you meet your assessor and so forth. Previously you learnt skills, of course you learnt skills, but with the MVQ you tend to learn skills more based on your work that you will be doing. Now the MVQ has 5 levels. Now level 1 is quite a general level really. You don't take on any responsibility and it's quite a relaxed level. Level 2, of course, you're going up a little bit. You may take on a few responsibilities. You may get involved in a work group of some sort. Now level 3, you would be expected to make decisions within the workplace and maybe consider working your way up into some kind of management position. Now level 4 is obviously more linked to management, and you're expected to definitely make more decisions, and of course level 5 is then more technical, more detailed. Okay, so if I move on to the D32-33 now, that means that you're responsible for assessing your students. So for example, maybe a sign language student in probably level 1, 2 or 3. Now you have to organise and agree with your students what time you're going to meet them in order to assess them. Now there's 7 areas to the D32-33. Firstly is your planning, time management and so forth. Secondly, you have observations, where you observe your student within the workplace. Thirdly, questioning, trying to ask your student, why did you do certain things this way? Fourthly, evidence. You may write evidence or different types of evidence, or perhaps videoing. Obviously, you need to bear in mind confidentiality. Fifth one is general assessment, discussing with your student what they need to do to progress. Sixth, feedback, very important feedback to help them encourage them to progress. And seventhly, it's your results, when you get your results, whether you pass or fail. Now, I went to Manchester to achieve my D32, and I was assessing level 3 students. It was really interesting, actually, because I thought they were all wanting to be interpreters, but they were more interested in perhaps working within schools as class support, within the public, perhaps encouraging deaf awareness. So it took about 6 months for me to assess these students. It was very informal, but their view was very different to mine, you see. I thought they all would want to be interpreters, but they just weren't ready. They said they were saying they need to, in the future they'd need to be level 4 to become an interpreter, which has quite surprised me, really. But they've all managed to pass now. I think the course itself probably takes about 2 to 3 years. But it's interesting to see different people's views on these subjects.